Referees chief Howard Webb has been told it is time to go after the latest set of blunders in the FA Cup. That is the view of SunSport expert Mark Halsey, a former FIFA official and Premier League whistler. Sign up for the football newsletter. Thank you. Howard Webb is facing calls to step down as PGMOL chiefCredit. Getty. Lucas Digne clearly handled inside the areaCredit. BBC. Newcastle's fourth-round 3-1 win at Aston Villa on Saturday night was marred with refereeing controversy. BBC pundit Wayne Rooney called Chris Kavanagh's failure to award a 61st-minute penalty for handball against Villa left-back Lucas Digne as one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. Digne should earlier have got a red card, and Villa scored with a goal that was clearly offside. Halsey says the buck stops with Webb. Read more in Football. He said, Webb has had 3 years in the role, and it's not been good enough. Everyone has a shelf life and the time has come for him to move on. This is no different to when Ruben Amorim or Thomas Frank got sacked for poor results. There has been a decline in the standard of officiating, and things are getting worse. Most read in sport. Casino special, best casino bonuses from £10 deposits. I speak to Premier League managers and I know they aren't happy with him. You'd have to ask, what's Webb done to improve standards? If anything, it has gotten worse. I've been a football fan all my life. We want to be talking about wonderful players and goals, not refs making bad calls every week. The controversy over Digne's handball was among a series of errors committed by Kavanagh and his colleagues. Villa's Tammy Abraham scored the opener, even though he was clearly in an offside position. And Digne escaped a red card for a lunge on Jacob Murphy. VAR from perfect. Rooney's fellow broadcaster Alan Shearer, the Prem's record goalscorer, reckons the Howlers showed the damage VAR has done to referees. VAR is not in operation until the 5th round of the FA Cup this season, so the trio of very high-profile blunders brought the standards of refs back into the spotlight. Toon boss Eddie Howe said officials are too reliant on the technology. Webb replaced Mike Riley as the PGMOL refs chief back in December 2022. But he retained several of Riley's staff, which Halsey believes is part of the problem for the current regime. SunSport understands Webb has admirers at FIFA, which could spark a refereeing shake-up. There is speculation that Prem whistler Anthony Taylor, 47, may step away after the World Cup finals this summer and replace Webb. Taylor, Michael Oliver and Kavanagh are England's 3 UEFA refs. Here's what Mark Halsey had to say in full. We've seen a steady decline in officiating standards at the top of the game and elite referees have become lazy and inept. But the controversy over Newcastle's FA Cup 4th round win against Aston Villa only highlighted just how poor the level of officiating is now. I could not believe it when I saw that referee Chris Kavanagh failed to award a penalty when Lucas Digne handled Kieran Trippier's cross in the box on the hour mark. And I was disappointed when his assistant Nick Greenhalgh compounded the howler by failing to bail his colleague out. The shocking mistake, a free kick, was given instead, was a basic refereeing error on an afternoon of many at Villa Park. I would expect a set of Sunday League officials to get the Digne handball right. Villa left-back Digne was a good 2 yards inside the area when the ball struck his right elbow. In fact, he never came out of the area, so how on earth did Kavanagh award a free kick? No wonder Newcastle stars like Trippier and Dan Burn went nuts in their reaction. Digne was only booked for this challenge credit, BBC. A free kick was given rather than a penalty credit, BBC. Tammy Abraham's goal was allowed to stand despite being offside credit, BBC. Kavanagh was promoted to UEFA's elite band of refs last month, and Europe's governing body will not look favourably at his Villa Park display. He had an extremely poor day at the office and he will be hurting, but he clearly switched off and lost focus and concentration, with the VAR, although not in operation until the 5th round of the competition, also playing a part. I agree with BBC pundit Alan Shearer when he said refs are now too reliant on the VAR and often wait to make a decision because they believe technology will intervene. But do I blame the officials for the wider issue of how bad standards are? No, I've been saying for years the standard of our referees isn't up to scratch. Yes, it was a relief that Newcastle came back into the game and justice was done because they also fell behind to an offside Villa goal scored by Tammy Abraham. And Digne was earlier a lucky guy to get away with a reckless challenge on Jacob Murphy. But I don't blame the match officials solely, if we look at the wider picture of refereeing standards on a weekly basis. We have some excellent refs, so you have to look at a clear lack of leadership, direction and management of our top officials, and that's down to PGMOL chief Howard Webb. We are seeing basic errors every week, and the buck stops with Webb. Referees are being led down in training and education, and the level of coaches today is not fit for purpose. From what I am hearing, refs are all over the place because they get mixed messages from Webb, and that's why time has run out for him. This isn't me being bitter and twisted as I'm no longer involved, but this is no different to when Ruben Amorim or Thomas Frank got sacked at Manchester United and Tottenham respectively for poor results. We are seeing basic errors every week, and the buck stops with Webb. The different messaging from Webb's management team has only created indecision and inconsistency. Yet it's not the only problem. Webb inherited staff from the disastrous Mike Riley, and a lot of deadwood remains. This has led to a severe lack of quality coaching for our elite officials. As a result, referees are being led down in training and education, and the level of coaches today is not fit for purpose. Spanish Grand Prix exclusive offer. We've secured an exclusive offer to this summer's Spanish GP, so our readers get an extra £30 off. This 5-night holiday in June costs just £599 pp, and SunSport readers can unlock an exclusive extra 5% discount, bringing the price down to an incredible £569 pp. The deal includes return flights, 5 nights at a 4-star hotel and a 3-day ticket to all the action at the track, plus transfers. To claim your exclusive saving, simply pick up the phone to the Travelodeal team on 0204 505 9777 and quote the code F1SUNSPORT. But you'll have to be quick because this special saving is only available until February 28. Don't miss out. Asterisk if you click on a link in this article, we will earn affiliate revenue. Don't miss Spanish GP trip for just £569. Webb staff are not capable of delivering the training to make our officials better because the evidence of poor officiating is clear and obvious every weekend. We need better coaches and assessors to raise standards. At the moment, they are not being nurtured and developed in the right way. VAR also remains an issue, but I will remain consistent in my belief that it's the personnel using it which is the major problem. There is still too much intervention with games often being re-refereed. To sort out this issue, we need a consistent message to referees and spell out to them when the VAR should get involved and when they should stay away. I have banged on for a long time that we've been too forensic with it, so I was pleased to see European refs boss Roberto Rossetti admit we have been too microscopic, and it needs to change. You can find anything you want once you slow everything down and pore over decisions for a long period of time. Recommended stories. Without VAR this weekend in the FA Cup fourth round, it shone the spotlight on the decision-making from our referees. Now hopefully this chaos can spark an improvement in performance, and, quickly. Ruben Amorim was sacked for poor results, and Webb could face the same fate. Credit. Getty. Alan Shearer and Wayne Rooney let rip on the BBC credit. BBC. Mark Halsey made the cutting remarks after a tough FA Cup weekend for referees. Credit. AFP. Comments.